No Puka, no problem. The squad show is back. I'm Gavin Carlson, and the Rams go to London to pick up a statement win.
And what it do, squad? It's your boy Brock, and the defense dominates with 7 sacks on the day.
What up, squad? I'm Doug McCain, and Matthew Stafford has officially entered the MVP conversation.
Whose house? Rams house. It's the Rams squad. Everything Los Angeles Rams every week. Breaking down all the big hits and game-changing plays from the City of Angels. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Here comes the Rampede. The Rams Squad Show starts now.
How do you say BTA in British? The Rams go to London and destroy the Jags 35-7. This game was over before it started. You could say it got a little close, and then no, it didn't. The Rams absolutely destroy the Jags in London 35-7, going into the bye week now at 5-2. What is going on, Ramley? Welcome back to the latest edition of the Squad Show, the Rams Squad Show, right here on the Locked On Rams YouTube channel, and after the fact, both on the channel, wherever the heck you get the Locked On Rams audio podcast feed. The Mob Squad is here. D-Max calling Stafford an MVP candidate, and I know Brock is licking his chops watching that Rams defense get 7 sacks. I got to say, before we start, Christopher has me dying. He says the Rams set the tone from versus opening sack. Not a butt cheek was clinched, not even D-Mac. D-Mac, how you feeling this morning? We get a blowout win. How are you feeling?
It's stress-free football. This is the least anxious I've been in a Rams game in quite some time. Now we get to enjoy the last 3 windows and Monday Night Football after a BTA, like you said, of Jacksonville. We don't have to hear Cohen say Duval. It's L.A. County, right? So, hey, they went into Jacksonville. That was a pretty embarrassing performance by Jacksonville, quite frankly. All the drops, all the miscues by them. But as you point out, the defense, 7 sacks, 11 QB hits. They bent, but they didn't break at times. Matthew Stafford spread the ball around. Like I said, I mean, this is someone who's playing at that position as well as anyone in the National Football League. And, yeah, it was a nice one. I'm loving 5-2 heading into the bye, fellas.
Oh, yeah, absolutely loving it. Big Brock, you've taken this trip to London, right? How in the heck did this team make this trip and have their best performance of the season? Like, how did that make sense? What was the difference?
Man, for me, especially when Sean McVay and his staff came on, I went to London probably 2 times before that. And we stayed the whole week in London, did that whole ordeal. A lot of guys hated it because it was like, man, they want to go home. They want to see their family, things like that. Sean McVay, I don't know. He has this thing to a science now where he's like, all right, let's stay on the East Coast. Let's get, familiar with this time difference. And let's just go out there and play the game. Like, let's not do all the whole be out in London, try to make it a whole vacation experience. Let's just go out here to work and do our job. So they probably showed up, Saturday, Friday or Saturday before the game and just, maybe hung out, did some media things, and then went out for game day and did their job. I think that's the biggest thing about Sean and his staff is like they don't care about the whole experience. They have been there, done that multiple times. Now it's all about getting the job done. Last time I was in London, we beat the Bengals. I think it was 33-0. So he has it down to a science on how he wants his guys to perform in London, and you've seen it today. They went out there and dominated.
It was a business trip, and they handled business. They absolutely did. Got plenty to talk about. We will talk about the offense without Puka Nacua, the Davante Adams hat trick. Yes, we'll get to Matthew Stafford, maybe his best performance in years. I mean, just absolutely lights out, at least super efficient, obviously, with the touchdowns as well. We'll get to the dominant defense as well, and as we look forward to the bye week at 5-2. Before we do that, quick shout out to the sponsor of today's show. It's brought to you by PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Now, I don't know about you guys. Obviously, we had a show talking about it coming into this game. I was feeling like this was going to be a weird one, right? You're in London, which is already weird. You're playing one of the weirdest, hardest teams to figure out in the Jags in terms of if they're terrible, if they're really good, if they're somewhere in between. And you're without Puka. And I'm sitting here at the preview show looking like an idiot saying, guys, you're telling me that taking Puka is going to make Davante play better? You're telling me that taking Puka away is going to make that Stafford-Davante Adams connection look the best it's looked? Well, I guess so. I mean, let's not act like Davante Adams had 18 catches or something, but 5 receptions, 3 of them in the end zone, 3 touchdowns. D-Mac, that Stafford-Adams connection looking like it's arrived.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Gavin, it's not like he had 200 yards receiving and 15 catches, a massive game as receptions or yardage-wise, but this is what they envisioned for Davante Adams, a guy that could help them in the red zone, and he did just that today. 3 touchdowns. He made all of his catches. I thought he was a matchup nightmare for them, too, getting in and out of those breaks, and I think, too, there's just chemistry developing between those two guys, and I think that as the season progresses, where this Rams team goes deep in the playoffs and you kind of look back, hey, what was that game where Matthew Stafford and Davante Adams really found themselves? You're going to point to this game. So, I mean, you love the fact that he showed that he's someone that you don't have to run the football 3 times at the 8-yard line, right? You can take some shots in the end zone, and with him, I think he's someone that you can feel good about that fade. Some receivers, you don't feel great about that play, but for him, his ability to win that one-on-one, you trust his hands in those situations. I love it. I mean, the run game wasn't great in those situations, but finding Davante Adams there and knowing that, hey, he's a guy that we are going to zero in on. I think when Puka's back, it could be even better for him now that he's more comfortable with those situations and Puka drawing a lot of attention. So I'm excited about what the red zone offense looks like moving forward. Now is a different state, right? I mean, this is a Rams team that were punching in the end zone. They were converting when they needed to, and you didn't see field goals. It reminded me of the meme, right? Of course, where my man, the roll save dude, is pointing at his head, right? Sean McVay's like, you don't need to talk about the kicking game if you don't use the kicking game, and you don't use the kicking game when you score a touchdown. So I think that was certainly what was the big takeaway for me, is just the efficiency of this offense in the red zone and Davante Adams stepping in and having a big day. And hey, Brock, you're talking about the trip. It's got to be a happy flight going from London back to LA after a dub.
Oh yeah. A wonderful flight going back with a dub. And like I say, I go back to the defense because I think they set the tone. Jared Verse with the first sack of the game on the first play. I think that really, set the tone for the day. Like, okay, we're coming in here to play. We're not coming in here to enjoy the atmosphere and all the vibes. We're here to play a game and get this job done. So I love the way the defense played today.
Yeah,
I think
you bring up a great point. Okay.
I think with the defense too. I mean, 4 stops on 4th down. on 4th down.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They were hitting Trevor Lawrence, 11 QB hits. You mentioned the sacks. The secondary gave up 296 yards through the air, but most of that came in the second half when the Rams were already up 21-0. And then they also held that Jaguars team to less than 100 yards rushing. That was the 4th time they've held teams to less than 100 this season. So we mentioned that throughout the year on this show, that's a big improvement for this defense, their ability to stop the run. They did that. They got out to the quarterback. It's kind of what we've been talking about on this show, man. If you guys watch the show, man, these dudes know what they're talking about, right? I mean, the team we talk about is the team we kind of see great against the run, can get to the quarterback and cause pressure, but give up some yards on the ground. I mean, in the air. But, I was thinking about this during the game. Sean McVay's made some really good decisions throughout his career. Making Chris Shula the defensive coordinator is certainly one of those decisions because he looks fantastic, and I'm just enjoying him while he's here because my man looks like a future HC roaming those sidelines, right? Got the name already. The name already gets you a job, but you add the name plus the production, the results. Dude's going to be a head coach someday, so I'm enjoying it because this defense, they held it down today.
Yeah, and you both bring up great points in terms of the defense being consistently good the whole game, but setting the tone, like you said, kind of the same way the Rams never start seasons great, right? It's always 2-4 and 3-3, and you're nervous. Rarely are we up 14-0, and we're sitting there going, all right, we control this football game, right? Like, obviously, we have the Eagles game where that was the case, and it didn't go too well. But outside of that, you look at other games this season where you should be handling business, and you're trailing midway through the game against the Titans. You're in a nail-biter against the Texans. You're in a nail-biter 3-3 at half against the Ravens. To come out here today and go up 7-0 3 and out, and then a 13-play drive touchdown, 3 and out, and then a 6-play touchdown. It's 14-0 before the Jags even have a first down, right? And just like that, this game feels like it's going to be won by the Rams. And yes, D-Mac, no butt cheeks were clenched. It was a game where you could breathe, relax. And let's be honest, I think it helps being up 14-0 and saying, okay, we can throw the ball to Davante Adams because it's not 10-10 in the fourth quarter. We've got a lead. We can up 28-7, throw him a little fade in the end zone, because why the heck not? We can bring him out on the field when people were wondering if they're even going to, go out for that drive. Let's just give Davante one more touchdown, right? Sure, it's 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1. You maybe it's 4th and 1. Maybe you just run it for a first down with Kyron. Now let's go play action and throw like a 50-yard bomb to Terrence Ferguson, because why not? We're up multiple scores, right? So it's very nice to lead this ball game, early and often, and be able to get tricky and have fun and really just look fine without Puka. The defense set the tone, but it was Matthew Stafford at the end of the day. I mean, Davante had 3 touchdowns, Matthew Stafford with 5. Again, it's not like he completed 40 passes. It's not like he threw for 400 yards, but D-Mac, another 5 touchdowns, another no turnovers. It's a 17-2 touchdown to interception ratio on the season, and his team is 5-2 in a season where not that many teams are elite. D-Mac, and then we'll ask Brock after, is Matthew Stafford an MVP candidate now that Puka's out and he's still balling?
100%. I think there's a lot of things going for him. I think from a narrative standpoint, you like giving it to guys there in the later stages of their career, and it's kind of a surprising thing. Like, wait, he's still balling at this stage of his career. He's still cooking with gas, so there's that aspect to it. 2, the Rams are 5-2. The Rams look like a legitimate contender in the NFC, so they're going to be a double-digit win team that I think has a really good chance of winning their division, and I think all their goals are in front of them as being a Super Bowl contender. So there's that. There's also, 2, no one out there is dominating. I mean, you don't see a Saquon Barkley having a historic season or anything like that. I mean, we're talking about Baker Mayfield being the MVP if the season ended today, heading into this week. And I think the thing about Stafford is, my man is just, I mean, he's like the NFL's version of fine wine. Like, he gets better with age, and he's still great. Like, I mean, today he was just in complete control. And I love that you pointed that out, Gavin. That 4th and 1 early in the fourth quarter, that's a play where you kind of live. Maybe you're trying to establish the running game because it wasn't great this game, and maybe you want to trust your blockers and try to just, if you get it, great. If you don't, maybe take some time off if you get it as well. But they say, we're going to get Terrence Ferguson involved. And they do it on that 31-yard touchdown. It was his first touchdown of his career. And what I love is we talked about having some more 12 personnel with Puka out, featuring more tight ends, and specifically Terrence Ferguson. And it's not like they featured him on plays that they would have featured for Tyler Higbee or Colby Parkinson or Davis Allen. That completion right there was why they drafted Terrence Ferguson. They did a couple times during this game, try to find him on the seam, try to find him on a little fade. And I think if I'm Matthew Stafford, I'm like a dude on Christmas morning, right? I just opened up like a new PS5 or something. That's like a new toy for me to play with for the rest of this season. So I'm very excited about these guys getting confidence, the guys that you mentioned. How about our boy Mumfield getting that catch and doing the suey Selly? That was fire. So I love that they all got confidence and results with Puka Nacua out. Now you get Puka back, and I think this offense, you want to get the run game going, but I think this offense has the potential to still be one of the best in the league now.
Brock, we've got right now it's Mahomes, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, Drake May, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff. That's the official betting lines for the MVP. Is there a scenario where Matthew Stafford gets ahead of Drake May, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes in your mind?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If he continues on this course where he's throwing touchdowns and not making mistakes, I mean, obviously today I'm looking at this yardage right now, 182. I'm like, dang, like, I would have expected more. I would have expected around 200 something, 300 something with the amount of plays he made today. But it was just very efficient. He got everybody involved. I know in the preview show, I was talking about Tutu Atwell, but looks like he just involved everybody but Tutu. Right. He had all the tight ends caught a ball. You had Mumfield catching a touchdown. Obviously, they focused on Davante in the red zone, so they kept it simple in the red zone. I thought, I always talk about make it funky, but they kept it simple in the red zone. Hey, throw it to our guy that we got this offseason. Let him go jump up and go get the ball. And pretty much that's what they did all day. The run game wasn't effective today, but I mean, once you're getting those plays, and like I talked in the preview, hey, man, let's get those 3 or 4, check the ball down. Let's get some of those yards, that 3 or 4 yards for first and second down. Then it doesn't make it hard on third down. You got your playbook is wide open on third and short. So for me, I love the way they went with this game plan. Check it down to your tight ends, check it down to your backs, make it easier on the quarterback come third down. So if he continues to play at this level where he's, throwing the ball around, getting it to his playmakers, and he's not making the mistakes, I think there's a very good chance of him leading this ladder of players when it comes to the MVP candidacy.
And Brock and Gavin, imagine if I told you this when we were doing like 10 straight episodes on his back, that we'd be heading into the bye and he's even in the MVP conversation. I mean, even heading into this game, you mentioned less than 200 yards passing. Heading into this game, he was leading the league in passing yardage, and now he leads the league in touchdowns. So the numbers are there. The wins are there. The narrative's building. And let's be honest. He's not that sexy pick. He's not like a young guy that's kind of one of the stars that the league is marketing, like some of the names that you mentioned, right? So they're going to need – you know how the NFL is, fellas. I mean, overnight, this will be a thing if depending on how guys play. So I expect his name to kind of go up. And think about kind of big picture. I don't want to look too ahead here. But my man's going after that gold jacket. He wants to be a Hall of Famer, wins an MVP. He's already top 10 in most quarterback passing categories. He wins an MVP. Rams win a Super Bowl. My man could be looking at a first ballot HOF, right? So, I mean, it's kind of wild how things can change so quickly. And we know he's one of the best passers to ever play this game. And I'm just happy for the guy because I was really worried and concerned that his career might end where he wasn't able to control the end. I hate when the game and injuries decide when your career ends. I hate that for players. And it now feels like he's just in a really good spot. He's playing pretty well. Do you see him? I thought it was cold. I thought it was kind of swaggy to see him icing his hand out. You know what I mean? Kind of like it was like he was on fire, kind of icing it down. I kind of got a vibe. As Gavin would say, he probably has aura, right? I mean, right?
I mean, Kurt Warner
was he aura farming?
He might have been aura farming. I don't know, but hey, it's not aura farming if it works, right? And it was working. Like Kurt Warner, I think was like, it's the only way you could stop him and cool him down is with the ice. I loved when Rich Eisen said, I think he said, the game was over the second this happened, and they just showed Matthew Stafford put his helmet on to start the game. Like,
that was a good one.
That was hilarious. But it was a dominant performance. Like you said, Brock, you're surprised when you only see 182, but just a very efficient game. We didn't have the ball for like huge long spells, and we did kind of have a period there where both teams just like stopped playing football. I mean, like the third quarter was some of the most disgusting stuff I've ever seen. Punt, turnover on downs, punt, turnover on downs, punt, 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 punt. That was the third quarter. So imagine if the Rams even showed up in the third quarter. They didn't need to. They were already up 21-0. If they did, they might have won this game 50-0 or 33-0, like Brock said he did when he went there. But still a huge dominant win. Plenty to talk about. We still haven't even talked about one guy who, in my opinion, the most important person in this whole operation. I think he had his best game as well. We'll get to that. We'll, of course, talk about the defense, and we will look forward to the bye week and where the Rams stand now at 5-2. We'll do all of that after our break here on a Victory Edition, a live post-game reaction edition of the Locked On Rams Squad Show. We'll be right back. Now, this might be the earliest ad read in the history of the Locked On Rams Squad Show. It's 10:20, and we're already midway through a show. Shout out to the London game. I thought it was a lot of fun. Today's show is brought to you by a new sponsor, Rippling. If you're a business owner, here's the truth. SaaS promised to make work easier, but now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS. That's sad. Software as a disservice. That's why you need Rippling. Rippling is the unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. By uniting your employees, teams, and departments in one system, Rippling removes the bottlenecks, busy work, and silos your software created. Everything from onboarding to payroll to IT access, it all runs automatically and perfectly in sync. And right now, you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/lockedonnfl. Learn more at rippling.com/lockedonnfl. That's rippling.com/lockedonnfl for 6 months free. Terms and conditions apply. Today's show also brought to you by PrizePicks. The episode is brought to you by PrizePicks because every day we make decisions, but on PrizePicks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss the excitement of this football season with PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. Playing, it's so much fun, right? You simply just pick more or less on player projections like Josh Allen's passing yards or Saquon Barkley to rush for a touchdown. And just like that, you're in the game. I love how quick it is. I do everything last minute. And with PrizePicks, you can make your lineup up in under a minute. Just like that. Boom. My favorite thing, they just added stacks. So if I want to ride with a player, I can select their pass yards, their rush yards, their touchdowns, all in one lineup. No more picking one thing. If I just think a guy is going to go off, if I think he's going to oral farm, if I'm going to glaze, okay, then I'm going to put him all over my lineup with 3 or 4 selections with the stack. So download the PrizePicks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Back here live on the Rams Squad Show. Rams 35, Jags 7. Let's not waste any time. Brock, is this the biggest win of the season for the Rams?
I think so. You know, when we talked about how weird this game would be, you know, both of these teams 4-2, you don't know what Jaguars team is going to show up, and then we go out there and just completely dominate on every single level. I think we just finally, I would say this game, we finally put everything together. We didn't have any mishaps on special teams. We put it together in the red zone with a high efficiency rate. Defense, we shut the run game down. They really couldn't do a lot. I mean, obviously they had 296 in passing yards, but that was all in trash minutes when they needed to pass the ball. So I think this game, I would say, was a game we put it together on every single level. So offense, defense, special teams, we did what we had to do. We made no mistakes. So I would say at this point of the season, yes, this is the biggest game of the season.
I mean, D-Mac, obviously, you know, other impressive wins in terms of you're able to beat a Colts team that was undefeated at that moment. But, I mean, really outside of that, you know, we've kind of been questioning the Rams' resume, you could say. I mean, I think people are going to leave this game and see how poorly the Jags played and go, no, we were right all along. Actually, the Jags do stink. This is an impressive win for the Rams. But wait a second. You go to London and you make a 4-2 Jags team that beat the Chiefs, that beat the Niners. You made them look terrible. You made them look like the old Jags. Is it fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Jacksonville team, their Super Bowl was beating that Chiefs team, and then they're kind of good with that. But I think as far as the best win of the season, I would say it definitely is, considering you're heading into the bye. After the bye, you have New Orleans. You have 3 of your next 4 games at home, so it sets you up really nicely. You add the fact that you're playing without Puka Nacua, and if you look at all the expert picks on this one, no one had the Rams winning by 10 or more points. A lot of people expected this to be a much closer game, as we also did too. So I think from that standpoint, it stings because really you should be saying the Eagles or maybe even the 49ers would be a more impressive win. But still, I mean, this was a win that, as you point out, they did take care of business. And I think you also showed a lot of improvement areas you're trying to hoping to improve. I mean, you mentioned the players we've talked about all year, like the Nate Landman's having a really good game. The Quentin Lake's having a really good game. It wasn't just the stars on offense as well, but certainly I think this has to be right up there just because I think it was a mature win for a team that was up to the challenge of going out there and competing without Puka Nacua. By the way, I already see people on social media saying, oh, Puka Nacua is a Matthew Stafford merchant and things like that. Like, it's so funny how quickly people can change their tune and things like that.
Right.
But the reality is, though, I mean, we talked about it on the squad show leading up to this, is that there was an elevated sense of focus, I think, with the guys not named Puka Nacua out there just because they knew the ball was going to be coming their way and they want to make the most of their opportunities. And I think, too, heading into this, too, from a game plan standpoint, it's the best game plan I've seen from Sean McVay in a while. Just the aggressiveness. I mean, that no-licker from Stafford, some of the plays you remember, too. And I want to say, just top of my head, this has probably got to be the biggest blowout win since They blew out the Broncos on Christmas Day a few years ago. So from that standpoint, this is not somewhere we're used to as Rams fans, getting these really comfortable, big blowout wins. So to do that, I do think it was a statement that this Rams team is not the Los Angeles Pukas, right? They're the Los Angeles Rams.
Right.
Yeah, I think what you said about it being a mature win is perfect because this feels like the exact game that so many people doubting the Rams would expect us to lose, right? They'd go, okay, it's a long trip. You're coming off a pretty easy, kind of sleepy win in Baltimore. You've got the bye next week. You're without Puka. It's a somewhat older team, at least on offense. So they're already looking forward to the bye week. Are they just trying to survive? Are they going to, look lightly on a Jags team? You go up 14-0 and this team could have easily laid an egg, but no, they did not. I think you're exactly right. It was one of the more impressive games from Sean McVay because he did help Matthew Stafford spread the ball around. I mean, the fact that there isn't a single guy on this team with more than 5 catches, not a single guy on this team with more than 50 yards, right? And yet,
and 10 guys got involved. 10 guys.
10 guys. You put up 35 points despite not a single guy having 50 yards receiving. Like, think about that. That's crazy, right? And I mean, Davante Adams has 5 catches, but for 35 yards. So, like you said, Brock, taking what you're getting, very efficient, nice and easy. The run game didn't even play that well, and yet you absolutely dominate. I think my whole opinion on Sean McVay has always been when the run game is working, he's unstoppable. Well, guess what? The run game wasn't really working tonight, and it's still, or tonight, definitely not tonight, this morning, and yet it's still, the offense still did everything it needed to do. Now, the question becomes, when the heck do we get to start talking about this defense a little bit more on the show? Because 35 points is great, but 7 points, the reason the offense didn't need to do anything in the second half, didn't even really need to do anything in the second quarter, is because the defense was absolutely lights out. I thought Trevor Lawrence looked like Trevor Lawrence. 23 of 48 is pretty brutal. He did get sacked 7 times. A couple times it was his fault. Should have thrown the ball away and didn't. Kurt Warner was starting to flame him a couple times, but D-Mac, we're familiar with Liam Cohen, right? He's another Sean McVay disciple. I thought he had a rough game. I thought the corners, though, for the Rams made it difficult for the Jags. What did you think of this secondary that we always talk so much about and debate about?
I mean, you saw what happens when you have a vicious front that's able to cause pressure. Even guys like Josiah Stewart got a sack and caused pressure. When you have 3 really good edge rushers, you can make life difficult, and you saw Trevor Lawrence trying to make plays out of structure. He never had a pretty pocket all day to make throws. That even when he did, I mean, you saw a really nice play from Kobe Durant, a nice pass breakup. Quentin Lake had a nice pass breakup. Darius Williams, I think, had his best game he's had in a while. Manuel Forbes, I mean, you could tell they're trying to target him a little bit. They try to be a little more physical with him. He was playing a little closer to his receivers today. But yeah, I mean, look, like every defense is going to have their strengths and weaknesses. And the truth is, I mean, a lot of in the name of the game in the NFL in 2025 is, I mean, if I had to pick between a dominant front 4 with edge rushers that can get to the quarterback versus a dominant secondary, most people would take the dominant pass rush, right? So right. I would much rather the dominant pass rush than a dominant 2 cornerbacks that play in this style of defense anyway. But I think today, you look at most of those yards, a lot of them came when it was a nice lead. Right. It was better. I mean, you didn't see big mistakes, not many. You didn't see those big pass interferences. You didn't see them getting beat by explosive plays, and the Jaguars have the ability to do that. I mean, there were some just egregious drops, though. Let's be honest. Like, there were some really, really bad drops, and those are plays that if it was the other side, we'd be yelling at our dudes, like, catch the darn football, right? And if they catch those footballs, you're probably having a little bit of a different conversation. You're still saying, okay, the secondary is a weak link for this Rams team, which I still think it is. But all in all, I mean, the results are the results, and they're going to live with that dominant pass rush that's going to lead them to being a top 10 defense, and they're going to try to correct the secondary issues as the season progresses. But yeah, I mean, those receivers, man, like that was just an L across the board for those dudes, man. It was like the Jags were taking turns making mistakes. Like one play would be like a really bad throw by Trevor Lawrence, and the receiver's like, what the heck? And then one play, it's like a good throw by Trevor Lawrence. They get the drop. Like, man, it must not be fun to be a Jags fan.
No, I mean, they were talking about on the broadcast, like you said, it literally would go from blocking the back on a punt return touchdown to Trevor Lawrence horrible read to Trevor Lawrence doesn't have time to Brian Thomas Jr. drops one of like 3 balls today to the run game was in a fit, right? Like everything every single unit. It was like 0 for 7, 0 for 8. Like every phase of the game, they were awful today. And that's why, like, it's great it was a dominant win. I do think we get most of the credit, but the Jags did play an awful football game.
Absolutely. I mean, he was not efficient, right? He was 23 for 48.
Yeah.
One
brutal.
touchdown, no interceptions. And hey, like I said, I don't know why. I've certain players. I mean, I like most players. I'm like more likely to like a player than not like a player. I don't know about you guys, but every time I go to commercial break, I'm like, why the heck is there this many Trevor Lawrence commercials? Like, my man's like on an Adidas commercial, like all these, like there's way too many Trevor Lawrence commercials based on how he's been playing. Okay, I'm just gonna put that out there right there, and I think that the Rams weren't afraid of having Trevor Lawrence go out there and beat him today. They're going to let him air it out and throw the ball, and they were going to live with the results, and clearly they went in their favor.
D-Mac sounds like Stephen A. like 10 years ago talking about Baker Mayfield. Remember, it's like he's got more commercials for Progressive than he's got touchdowns on the field.
You know, crazy. And that's one thing too. Is I used to hate Baker Mayfield. Now he's like my favorite player in the league. Maybe it was because he had that short stint with the Rams. So yeah, okay. So yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. The hater talk can change a little bit for sure.
No, it's true though. You're right though, because the dude has consistently been like a bottom half quarterback for his entire career, despite being the number one pick. And now he's got weapons. Brian Thomas Jr. had an awful game, but he's still amazing. Travis Hunter shows his flashes towards the end there with that 34-yard touchdown. But yes, the secondary, you take away that big touchdown to Hunter, you take away the big touchdown or the big pass, to De'Ami Brown. That's like 2 plays for 70 yards. If you take those 2 throws away, they did nothing. And like you said, D-Mac, the secondary was solid, but it's a lot easier to be solid when you have this front seven. Big Brock, you played next to Aaron freaking Donald. Is this front seven better than any front seven you've been on, or am I talking crazy talk?
I mean, yeah, you might be talking a little crazy. We had Aaron Donald on our D-line, but no, when I look at this D-line, I love the fact that everybody is young. Everybody is hungry. Everybody can get after the quarterback, so, there's plays that they're relentless, with getting after the quarterback. Obviously, a lot of times, especially in the trenches, man, it's tough, to get around guys that's holding every play, and there's somebody getting knocked down every play. But when you got guys, you might get one guy get doubled, Jared Verse gets chipped really bad early in the game. I'm like, dang, how did that happen? Then, Brian Young comes around the edge, or, Brandon Fisk or Kobe Turner, so for me, man, I love how relentless this defensive line is. And you don't need to bring pressure. You can set everybody in the secondary back in coverage and just let your 4 dogs go after it, and they will cause some pressure. So I know that is like the key thing to our defense is the fact that we can just leave a lot of guys in coverage and just rush the passer with 4, and our 4 guys to get home. And that's what I love about this defense.
Yeah, I think they have those guys for sure. It's just finding those guys you can trust. I think the secondary, the 2 guys that stood out to me today, the Lake always stands out to me. The 2 guys that stood out to me, Cam Kinchins. I mean, Kinchins, he was all over the field. He was stingy. He was sticky in coverage. There was that one play where Travis Hunter, where he pressures him, and it could have been a key catch and run. He's there. He's a guy who's all over the football field, and he's just making the plays and doing the dirty work. And he gets a lot of credit for me. I think today he really stood out because his athleticism and his ability to kind of match up with different types of players, and he can make plays against athletic guys. He can be strong and physical to like more tight ends and kind of stop the run. I really like what I saw from him, and I think too, I kind of want to mention this. Darius, there's always something about going against your old team a little bit, and I think Darius Williams going up against his old team, I think there's some extra motivation there. This is the second game in a row for Williams where I think he allowed 1 reception today. The pass breakups, he looks like the Rams' best cornerback right now. He really does. So that's definitely a positive because they're paying him, and he definitely needs to perform. He's looking a lot better. I thought that he might have been a little bit – I thought it was barbecue brisket at the beginning of the season, and I'm starting to really see a turnaround from Darius Williams, and he does still have something left in the tank. So that's definitely positive. So really it's like – it's almost like you mentioned, Gavin, us not talking about the defense and the front four just because they're so good. It's almost like we take them for granted because, I mean, they're in there every single play. And, like, Jared Verse being that vocal leader and just pumping up guys. And, like, Braden Fisk, I thought had a good game as well. I mean, they're just so consistently good with pressure that it's almost like we almost need to have like a really bad game for once to kind of see what it looks like. But it's like they're always consistent. And to their credit, man, and I love it too, because that's the identity of Rams football, going all the way back to the fearsome foursome. I love the fact that they're hanging their hat on that part of the defense, and it's exciting to see.
Yeah, and I'm a little biased, I'm repping it here again today. Another big win, by the way, yesterday for our Bruins. But
big win, Maryland, bro. You by a walk-off kick.
Come on, don't do that, D-Mac. Don't do that, D-Mac. Come on now.
On Fox Sports 5, like what channel is that on? Like channel 9060. I mean,
next week, big noon kickoff is a UCLA football game. So there you go. Come on now.
See, I'm such a hater. I hate on my own teams. Okay.
Everyone calls me the hater. What's his name? Moadib. I always never know how to say his name. I'm sorry, I don't know the reference. Moadib. He was saying at the beginning, he said Gavin hated on the Rams, he hated on UCLA, he hated on the Dodgers, and look at where all three are doing. I'm like, damn, good point, bro. He cooked me. But I was saying I'm biased. I think Quentin Lake is quietly like a really good football player, and he showed it again today a couple times. I know he did get beat on a deep ball or two, but he was in the slot at times against Travis Hunter. He had a nice third down where they tried to throw it across the middle to him. Travis Hunter is complaining about PI. No, bro, you just got clamped by Quentin Lake. That's all, bro. So I do feel like this team is still a secondary piece away, like one acquisition away. And it's not because I don't think that, like a Darius Williams and Forbes at times can be good, but it still feels like this team needs one like stud corner to go up against the stud receiver that every good team has. And then if our number 2 and our number 3 are going against their number 2 and their number 3 with the pass rush we have, I think we're fine, right? But it's just when you play the AJ Browns of the world, we saw what happened. It was a man amongst boys. And so maybe we need to go get one more man in our secondary. I'm surprised Big Brock didn't talk about his favorite player on defense. We'll get to that because I want to talk about him after the break, and we will look forward as the Rams are 5-2 going to the bye week. We'll do that after our break here on the Locked On Rams Squad Show. We'll be right back. Now, today's show brought to you by Mazda, because look, Mazda, it crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. It delivers confidence with every ride with more IHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anyone else as of August 2025. From footwork to breathwork, athletes sweat all the details. Mazda brings this same intention to how we craft every model. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but, from smooth handling to intuitive controls, and you can feel the Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. So like our players, we sweat every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. Back here live on the Rams Squad Show. Rams 35, Jags 7. We gave a lot of the defensive players praise, and rightfully so, right? Because 7 sacks for the Rams in this one. They also hold Trevor Lawrence to less than 50% completion percentage in a game where he's trailing and we're giving him completions. He still couldn't take advantage. But again, 7 sacks in this one. A couple guys got in there. Obviously, Jared Verse started the party. Quentin Lake had a sack. Josiah Stewart had a sack. Byron Young, another sack and a half. The guy is quietly he might be leading the NFL in sacks now after this performance. Laryl Murchison got one as well. But the guy I want to talk about, another 1.5 sacks, another TFL, another 9 tackles. And they need to, I know the NBA has one. The NFL needs a most improved player award so that Nate Landman can win it, because a sack and a half today, he's been incredible, like just absolutely absurd. I know that's your guy, Brock. He's flying all over the field. And you're telling me this guy, we're only 7 games into the season, and he already has, what is it? I'm looking. Oh, it just canceled out on me. But the guy already has 2 forced fumbles, a forced fumble recovery. He's got like 60 total tackles. He now has 2 sacks, a bunch of TFLs. Like last year, the guy had 80 tackles. He's got 58 already. Like, most improved player, Brock. Why isn't it a stat or an award? And would it be him if it was?
Oh, for sure. This guy has changed the outlook of this defense. Obviously, we had a great front 7, but with him in the middle of it, and he's the vocal leader of this defense. He calls the plays. He gets everybody set in the right position. He's just your, you always on the football team, you want a guy who just loves ball. He loves to play football. He would probably play for free If it wasn't the fact that everybody around him is making millions of dollars and he'll probably be getting a little jealous, he needs to pay his bills as well. But Nate Landman would probably play for free because he loves football just that much, you know? And when you have a guy on your team that just loves to play the game of football, it goes out there and it shows up. He's around every ball. He's trying to make every play. He's punching the ball out. He's doing all the little things that really matters. You know, guys go out there. We focus on tackles or we focus on sacks. He just wants to make an impact on the game. Whatever he needs to do his job or to help the defense out, he's going to do it. And that's why I love seeing him play this game. I love seeing him out there. I pray for a healthy season, man, because he can go a long way. If they did have a most improved trophy, I think Nate Landman definitely deserves it.
Yeah, he's like a blue-collar player, right? He just shows up to work, gets the job done. I think for Landman, he's just everywhere. And I think that Shula does a great job in using him. And I think what really stands out for me with Landman is the discipline that he plays with, because the Rams are good against motion. They're good against play action. He's consistent in making tackles in space, but it's his ability to get to the quarterback. I mean, the dude can get to the quarterback and get home, and he can finish the job. Like, he's a big, strong dude. We know what his superpower is the peanut punch. So there's just a lot to him. I'm like, my man has set himself up for a massive payday. Like, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, this is a guy who's making $1 million. He's going to make a lot of millions after this season just because the way he's played with his team. He's a perfect fit. Give credit to this Rams organization for identifying a guy like Landman, bring him in, putting him into their culture, and he's just been a godsend. I mean, he's just been fantastic in his role. So hopefully, I mean, that's kind of the theme for this team, for some of these positions that they haven't used a lot of big capital. Because a guy like Jared Verse, right? You take with your 19th pick, that's big capital, right? A guy like Byron Young and Kobe Turner, you kind of know what you're getting at those positions, because they like to either spend premium money on that or trade for big names like a Von Miller type or things like that, those positions. But linebacker, they don't show a lot. They don't use a lot of top picks or go out there and sign big linebackers in those positions, right? And I think hopefully the same thing happens with the cornerback spot. By the way, did you guys see that play with Emmanuel Forbes where he flipped the dude? I mean, I thought the open field tackle from Emmanuel Forbes on Parker, I was like, let's go. Like, I honestly, like, looking back, I don't know if this is more Jags or the Rams. I kind of have to go look at it, but I really do want to say, like, I mean, kind of going back, it was a positive day for the secondary, and I think it was a better day for Forbes, a good day for Williams, but I didn't know he had that in his bag. I really did. Yeah. My man's flipping dudes in London, right? I love that.
Yeah, no, the physical game from the secondary. I thought there was some grabbing, some missed calls, some no calls, some yes calls, some drops, but there was a lot of competitive catches, right? A lot of contested catches and some physical tackling as well. That's all you want to see. Like, at the end of the day, this NFL, it's always a league of, like, do your corners get away with penalties like more than other teams? And if they do, it's because they're better in coverage and then they get the benefit of the doubt. Well, today it kind of felt like one of those games where we were clamping them throughout a lot of the game. And so we got away with a couple grabs and holds because we were controlling this football game. Our boy, or not our boy, but Patrick Mahomes, he heard us say that, Matthew Stafford's an MVP candidate. He's got 2 touchdowns already. He's like 12 of 14. They're up 14-0 on the Raiders. People were pointing out in the chat here, and it's kind of fun that we get to look at these scores as they're coming in, already having a victory, right? The same way you hate a Thursday night game if you lose, because then you have to think about the game for so much longer. You hate a morning London game because you have to wake up early, unless you win the way you did, because now we're sitting here all Sunday enjoying life. Things are fantastic. But people point out the Eagles up 14-3 already on the Vikings. Obviously, that's a big score in the NFC as well. So we'll be keeping our eyes on those, because the Rams, just quietly, even with, like you said, D-Mac, a infuriating loss against the Niners, an infuriating loss against the Eagles, they are still right there at the top of the NFC, right? They're right there. And you got a huge game on Monday. Tampa playing Detroit. One of those teams will be 5-2, or unless Tampa wins, they'd be 6-1. So the NFC, the class of the NFC can be decided in that game. But you have to like where the Rams are at 5-2 going into the bye week. You can get Puka healthy. I don't know if you guys heard them talk about it, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but they said Puka thinks he's going to be back after the bye week against New Orleans. Is that what they said?
Yeah, it feels like that's what they said, and hopefully that's the case. I mean, the fact that he traveled with the team, I think it's a good sign. He looked like he was in good spirits. He was pacing around. It was perfect to get that rest. And even if he's not even that injured, or if he could, I mean, if that's a playoff game, he's probably playing, right? So the fact that you get 2 weeks off, he's a big physical player, allow guys to get confidence, have results. It was a perfect situation.
Yeah, I didn't want him to travel, but the fact that he did, like you said, it must mean that he's not worried at all. And as much as I don't think we necessarily need him in 2 weeks against the Saints, no win is easy. We learned that in that Niners game. And if he's ready to go, he will go, and he will help the Rams pick up another win. Somehow, Stemothy read my mind right before I was going to take my break. I did want to quickly talk about that Ferguson touchdown because, like you said, D-Mac, it was a game where the 12 personnel was more involved. The tight ends were all over the place. I don't know about you guys. No offense. I know he's a Rams legend. But Tyler Higbee, I think he looks washed. I'm sorry. I thought he had a really rough game in this one at times. It was nice to see that even though he did, Ferguson came out and had that beautiful touchdown. He showed the athleticism. It's very rare do you see a tight end have a 30-plus yard touchdown where it's not a catch and run. It's not the guy wide open on the middle of the field after the catch. No, the guy just ran like a deep post from tight end, burned a safety, and Stafford put it in his, right in the breadbasket. I know if Puka's back next week, the targets probably go back down, and there weren't that many to begin with. But does this feel like the beginning of the Terrace Ferguson breakout for the Rams, D-Mac?
This is the evolution of that position, and we're seeing the Rams finally get into modern times. It's like when you go to the dealership, you're like, wow, the 2026 model has this feature, right? I mean, it's got Bluetooth. What the heck is, like the first time you saw a big screen in the car, you're like, oh crap, like that's what I see when I see Terrence Ferguson. Like, whoa, they can do that now, right? I mean, that's hybrid, right? That's hybrid stuff for Ferguson. I mean, he's doing receiver things, and it's no secret that the Rams have telegraphed this for years, that they've wanted a tight end with this type of ability. They were in on Bowers, right? They wanted him. They wanted to trade up for him, and they weren't able to do it. So the fact that they have someone in Terrence Ferguson that they said after the fact, and of course, Brock knows this. After every draft, every GM says, we got our guy. We would have taken him first and all this stuff. They always build him up. Yeah. They said they would have taken Ferguson with the first-round pick if they used it at 26. So if that's the case, then that tells you they expect to use him in a pretty advanced capacity at some point throughout the season. Mm-hmm. But as you point out, Gavin, it's not just how good he looked in the opportunities that he got. It's how Tyler Higbee looked in some of those drops. And this is something we talked about at the beginning of this season on this show, is that, the start of the year, because of that tight end position, if you talk to people within the Rams and learning that position, it's not something that happens overnight. Then you had the fact that Terrence Ferguson was dealing with that groin injury during the preseason and training camps. So that set him back a little bit there. So now you get him some nice touches and you get him a touchdown before the bye. Then I think you're going to start to see there'll be a little bit of a passing of the torch at some point this season. But you also have Parkinson, you have Davis Allen, you have 4 tight ends were involved today. But Terrence Ferguson, I think my big overall big picture take on Ferguson is I think the best, most dynamic version of this offense includes Terrence Ferguson being a weapon and doing the things that he's good at that the rest of the Rams tight ends just don't have in their bag, right?
Yeah, and one thing that Travis Rogers brought up on one of the shows, I forget, but it's true. You can't block right now. You kind of know when he's coming in the game. It's on a 3rd and long. Obviously, the 4th and 1 was the only time you sneak him in there when you're not expecting a pass and you pass. Mm-hmm. Big Brock, being the trenchman that you were, I don't even know if that's a way of describing it, but like, can a guy like Terrence Ferguson, who is as big as he is, can he develop into a good blocker? Like, is that just, I know tight end's hard because there's multiple things you have to do. It's why rookie tight ends normally aren't great. But is there like a learning curve with blocking as a tight end that is something that can be overcome? Like, you can overcome that? Or is it kind of like you come in the league and you're not good at blocking, you're probably not going to be good at blocking?
No, for sure. You can definitely learn how to block. And I think that's why you have a guy like Tyler Higbee still on this roster, is to have a guy like Terrence, get him under his wing, show him the technique, because it's all about technique. Obviously, in our room, especially defensive line, if we're going to get some tight end, we're expecting to win that every time. We don't expect tight ends to block us because we feel like they should be more receivers and things like that. But when it comes to being a tight end in this offense and doing the things that Sean McVay needs them to do, it's a lot of just technique things. You know, you're running the zone schemes here and there, man, get the chip on the guy, move up to the second level. So it's all about really technique. But I think that's the biggest reason why Tyler Higbee is still in this. And I hate to say he's washed because I almost kind of watched this guy grow up. You know, I remember when the Rams drafted him. So to see him in this stage of his career, kind of being on the back end of it, you can kind of see it like happening where eventually they'll pass that torch. And I think he's going to be okay with it because he has a young guy under his belt that he can watch. And it's almost better that you feel like you're impacting another player's career. So for me, I love the fact that they still have Tyler Higbee to kind of show some of these young guys what they need to do in the running game to help this team out, to not make it obvious. You know, obviously he can't block right now. So teams kind of know, like, okay, when we see him in the game, they're passing the ball or something like that. So you can definitely mix it up and switch it up when he gets in the game and they're still running the ball. And, you know, that helps on the play action plays and things like that. So we've seen how he can stretch the field. He ran a corner post on the state today and outran them. And, you know, like you said, Matthew put it right in the breadbasket. He even slowed down to catch the ball. So for me, I'm like, man, this guy can really stretch the field. And if we learn how to get him in positions to take advantage of that speed and that athleticism, man, that like you guys said, this just going to open up the playbook for Sean McVay to use.
Yeah, he needs to be more involved. I mean, like you point out, I mean, dude's 6'5", runs a 4.6 40. There was a buzzword in the last draft calling guys seam busters, which I don't like. I mean, it sounds weird to me, like Ghostbusters, seam busters. I mean, it's Halloween time, but he's a guy that can do that. But as you point out, Gavin, the blocking issue, it works both ways too, as far as telegraphing it. If Higbee's going to play, you still have to do some passing concepts for him, so it's not a tell that they're just going to run when he's in the game, right? So that's why 12 personnel makes the most sense, because if you have Ferguson in there with another tight end too, then it kind of frees him up for some spots as well. So I think for me, it's just mixing things up and keeping teams guessing, and it's just taking advantage of your weapons. I mean, we saw today. I mean, when you get him involved, good things happen. Now I want to see what it looks like in a first half of a game or with Puka Nacua on the field. Does he just catch everything that goes his way? Does he beat his guy one-on-one? Is he a mismatch nightmare in the red zone? So it's just kind of taking advantage of your picks too. I mean, hey man, if you're a top pick, you got to be used. Like period, point blank, end of story. Yeah. It's use them or lose them. So I think there's that. But as far as the learning how to block too, it's you got to kind of take with the good with the bad with the guy. And I think the good far outweighs the bad with him, especially as a rookie tight end in modern football with the offense that Sean McVay wants to run with him.
Yeah, and we're going to keep clamoring for him to get playing time, but at the end of the day, it's a good problem to have. Again, like the same way last week, it's a good problem to have that we're complaining we only beat the Ravens by 14. Like, it's a great problem to have that you won 35-7, and you're like, why isn't our, early to mid-round, weapon at tight end being used? Like, another reminder that this is an incredibly deep roster, and why we were so high on this team coming in the season, why we were so infuriated to see the way they played at the end of the Eagles game, throughout the whole Niners game, throughout the first half of the Ravens game. But again, at the end of the day, we're 5-2 going in the bye week. We'll talk about the outlook for the season now. With that being the case, I might just do a little rapid fire, predict the rest of the results, looking at the rest of the schedule, because I think we're feeling pretty good about our Rams today, and I might catch one of you guys saying something foolish, like saying we're going to win every game the rest of the season. So we'll do that after the break here, again, on a Victory Edition Locked On Rams Squad Show. We'll be right back. Now, finally, today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here. It's well underway, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. What I love about FanDuel, it gives you so many ways to play, right? There's the parlays, the player props, my favorite, the live lines. You can come out here, look at this game, see the Rams get a sack on the first drive, see them go get a touchdown and go up 7-0 and go, you know what? The Rams are going to dominate. Let me get Rams alternate spread 21 points or something, and that would have hit. We're looking right now. Matthews, we can do MVP odds, right? Matthew Stafford plus 1,100 to win the MVP behind Mahomes at plus 175. He's almost a 50-50 favorite at this point. Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, Drake May, right? You can do it all on FanDuel. It is the absolute best, okay? So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Back here live, Rams Squad Show, the Mob Squad, me, Big Mike Brock, Big D-Mac. I know he's fired up because his Dodgers are just playing absolutely unreal baseball right now. I mean, Shohei Ohtani, as much as I hate to admit it, being a Dodgers hater, I mean, maybe the greatest sports athlete we've ever seen, period. Like, is it time to start saying that?
Man, I think it definitely is the best athlete in any sport right now, I would say, of any of the professional leagues. It was funny. I was actually saying this. People could ask me, like, football, what would be the equivalent of what he did the other day, where he had 3 home runs and had 6 scoreless games with 10 strikeouts? Only thing I could think of is it would be if it was the AFC Championship game and you had Patrick Mahomes, and Mahomes threw 6 touchdowns, but also had 2 sacks and an interception and played 66% of the snaps on defense, right? It's crazy. Everyone says it's like it's like Lionel Messi and LeBron, the same dude. But I glaze that dude so much I should work at Krispy Kreme Donuts. I mean, I probably should chill for a second. But no, I love the Dodgers, but man, I hate it goes so deep in the football season. I'm like, come on, bro. I like the deep run, but I can't. I don't. Oh, there you go. Okay. I'm a sucker for a donut. You guys like donuts? I'm a sucker for a donut, man.
Oh, yeah. Nice glazed donut.
Just had to go pick them up to celebrate the win, right? You got people in here joking about tea and biscuits and crumpets and everything. I'm like, I need my little English breakfast or something as the Rams pick up the win. But yeah, glaze all you want. It's valid there. He's unreal. It's kind of funny. We saw the closest thing to that in the NFL with Travis Hunter, and he did have one of his better offensive games today. 8 catches over 100 yards, the touchdown. But, it's just absurd. It's just absurd. Now, let's wrap up this show looking forward, because the Rams are 5-2. You go into the bye week, knock on everything you got. Relatively healthy football team outside of Ahkello Witherspoon once Puka Nacua comes back, right? So let's look forward. You got the Saints after the bye. I'm going to do it. Screw it. Let's go rapid fire. That's a win, right?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
In San Francisco or in Santa Clara on the 9th of November. Assume at that point, Kittle's back today, so Kittle will be back. I assume Brock Purdy would be back by then. Is that a win or a loss?
It's a must-win.
I'll take that as a dub. That's a coin flip game. I mean, it's the cliche. I wouldn't be shocked if they lost, obviously. Yeah, but I think that's one where they have to atone for the other loss.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't even want to make a prediction on that one yet. Then they go and host the Seahawks.
Yes, that's going to be a toss-up. That's a tough one, man. The Seahawks are playing some good ball right now with Sam Darnold. So I don't know, man. That's my toss-up for the next 3 games. Is that Seahawks game, because divisional opponents always play you tough.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's the type of game where you'd like to have an elite corner by then going against JSN, because one of the best receivers in football this year. Then you host the Bucs. I mean, this stretch after the Saints, it gets very tough with Niners, Seahawks, Bucs. I mean, that, like someone was saying, that Sunday Night Football, at SoFi, someone said that might be for the MVP, right? The MVP might go to the winner of that game. So I don't know. What do you think there?
That's to be a tough one. I mean, it's a national televised game. It's an NBC game, 5:20 Pacific start. Buccaneers are good. I mean, who knows how healthy they'll be, though? I mean, honestly, they've been banged up. Evans and Ibuka, or what is Gronk call him?
I don't even know what he called him.
You didn't see that? Dude, he called it Ibuka like Egbegbu or something. Even there's even a video of him apologizing to him. Mecca Egbegbu.
That's like Kendrick Perkins when Moses Moody got drafted for the Warriors and he had a seizure on carry. Moda Muzi.
I think I come up with Brock. I think the Seahawks, for some reason, is like a sneakier, harder game in a weird way, because it's a division game. The Rams are always going to show up when it's a big nationally televised game. There's just like a big electricity in the building. That one's there we go. Deep says, what do you say? Gronk CT had a baby and they named it Scattaboo. Wow.
That's crazy. I mean, it's a weird game because it's like sandwiched between 2 games that are theoretically bigger in Niners and Bucks, but at the same time, if you don't wake up for every division game, something's wrong, right? You can't that can't be a trap game. Like the Seahawks at SoFi, there's no world where that's a trap game, right? There's been years where the Seahawks have had 2 wins and they've been terrible, and you wouldn't consider it a trap game. So I certainly hope they would be awake for that one. The trap games are probably going to be the going to Carolina and then going to Arizona. Again, division game, maybe not so much, but going to Carolina after those 3 games of Niners, Seahawks, Bucks in a row, and then knowing that you've got the Lions and Seahawks and Falcons after that, like that's going to be the scary one, where the same way this was a mature professional win handling business, that would be a professional, mature win handling business in Carolina. And then, against the Cardinals, knowing what's before and after that. I mean, we're 5-2. Obviously, you got 10 games left. What are the Rams winning of these last 10? They winning 7? They winning 6? What would you say?
7 sounds like a good amount. I mean, it's the NFL, right? I mean, you're not going to go, not going to run the board. Injuries are always a possibility. They're on the stretch. Puka and Stafford, you got to hope they stay healthy. Kyron, hope he stays healthy. But I think that's fair. I think right now where this team is, you would take that. I mean, the 7 wins in the last 10. I mean, you got Detroit's going to be tough. At Seattle's going to be tough. Tampa Bay is going to be tough. At San Francisco, believe it or not, I know Rams fans don't want it to be tough. That's going to be tough. So you see 3 or 4 losses mixed in there for sure. I still think they're going to win the division, though.
Yeah. What about you, Brock? Out of the last 10, you think how many you got them winning?
Man, I agree, man. I hate being on the same page as Doug, but I mean, 7 wins sounds about right, man. Like all those divisional games are going to be tough games. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, even Arizona. Obviously, I'm an Arizona hater. I never feared Arizona, so maybe you count those 2 games, but for sure, Seattle and San Fran are going to be some tough games. Then you have the Bucks, and then you have the Lions. So those are all toss-up games. So I would take 7 out of 10 if that was the number I was looking for sure.
I guess just to keep the trend in my narrative, I'll say 6. I don't know. Just 12-5 seems like really freaking good for a team that I don't know if we're 12-5 good yet, but we could.
It could have been 6-0 though. Think about it.
It's true. Could be 7-0.
Yeah.
7-0. Could be
7-0 now.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's tough. I certainly. I think you still win the division, though. I think you got some help with the Niners.
How about the fact they swept
hurt?
the AFC South?
I mean, yes, I think you need to sweep the AFC South, though, if you're trying to be an elite football team. The AFC South is terrible, right? Like, you got to be able to sweep the AFC South. I think we need a couple more wins in the NFC, period. Because if you look at it, actually, I didn't even realize that. Our 2 losses are our only 2 NFC games of the season. So, yeah, that's the problem. I guess you're 4-0 against the AFC South. You picked up a win against the Ravens, and then you're 0-2 in the NFC in general. The tiebreakers there, you would like to, you should get a free NFC win hosting the Saints after the bye. You need to start building up that NFC record because the tiebreakers are going to be a thing, whether it's the division or, your seeding in the NFC overall. But for now, shut up, Gavin. Stop being a hater. You're 5-2. You just beat the Jags by 28. You're going into a bye week relatively healthy, and that's all you can ask for. Any last words from the Mob Squad before we just go watch football for the next 5-6 hours with our team having a victory already?
Thank you, Rams, man. I mean, hey, getting that dub so we can have a great Sunday and Monday.
There you go. Absolutely. We'll see you back here. I wonder, actually, I don't even know yet what the programming will be, if it's going to be a midweek show and then I don't think we're going to do a weekend show. My assumption is we'll probably do a midweek show next week to just talk about the state of the Rams. So be on the lookout for that. Then we won't be here next weekend with the bye week, and then we'll be back in the middle of the following week as well. Muad'Dib says Gavin is a good hater, though. He does keep it real. I don't know what that means, but I'll take it, I guess. I will take it. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Go enjoy football. Hopefully your fantasy teams do well. Hopefully you have Patrick Mahomes because the Chiefs are about to score again. My goodness. Have a great rest of your Sunday, folks. Whose house? Rams house. Who squad? Locked on Rams squad, baby. See you back here very, very soon.